Hello everyone, welcome to AFS Hackers. I'm Afshan. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the Red Team Threat Intel room of TryHackMe. Let's apply threat intelligence to Red Team engagements and adversary emulation. So this room has 8 tasks. So let's start with the first task, that is introduction. So threat intelligence or TI or cyber threat intelligence, that is CTI, is the information or TTPs, that is tactics, techniques and procedures attributed to an adversary, commonly used by defenders to aid in detection measures. The red cell can leverage CTI or cyber threat intelligence from an offensive perspective to assist in adversary emulation. Let's see what are the learning objectives of this room. Understand the basics of threat intelligence and how it can be applied to red team engagements. Learn how to create a threat intel driven campaign and use frameworks to understand concepts and leverage threat intelligence. So, okay, let's complete the task. What is threat intelligence? So, expanding upon task 1, cyber threat intelligence can be consumed to take an action upon data by collecting IOCs, that is indicators of compromise, and TTPs, that is tactics, techniques and procedures. Remember it, guys. Commonly distributed and maintained by ESOCs, that is Information and Sharing Analysis Centers. Intelligence platforms and frameworks also aid in the consumption of CTI, primarily focusing on an overarching timeline of all activities. Note, the term ESOC is used loosely in the threat intelligence landscape and often refers to a threat intelligence platform. Traditionally, defenders use threat intelligence to provide context to the ever-changing threat landscape and quantify findings. IOCs, indicators of compromise, are quantified by traces left by adversaries such as domains, IPs, files, string, etc. The blue team can utilize various IOCs to build detection and analyze behavior. From a red team perspective, you can think of threat intelligence as the red team's analysis of the blue team's ability to properly leverage CTI for detections. In this room, we will be focusing on APT, that is Advanced Persistent Threat, activity and how to leverage their documented TTPs. The next task will detail the specifics of threat intelligence and its significance to the red team. So let's see. So the task 3 is applying threat intel to the red team. So let's see. As previously mentioned, the red team will leverage CTI to aid in adversary emulation and support evidence of an adversary's behavior. To aid in consuming CTI and collecting TTPs, red teams will often use threat intelligence platforms and frameworks such as MITRE ATT&CK, TIBER, and OST-MAP. This cyber framework will collect known TTPs and categorize them based on varying characteristics such as, that is threat group, kill chain phase, tactic, objective and goals. So once a targeted adversary is selected, the goal is to identify all TTPs categorized with that chosen adversary and map them to a known cyber kill chain. This concept is covered further in the next task. It is a very interesting task actually. So leveraging TTPs is used as a planning technique rather than something a team will focus on during engagement execution. So depending on the size of the team, a CTI team or threat intelligence operator may be employed to gather TTPs for the red team. During the execution of an engagement, the red team will use threat intelligence to craft tooling, modify traffic and behavior, and emulate the targeted adversary. This concept is covered further in task 5. Overall, the red team consumes threat intelligence to analyze and emulate the behaviors of an adversaries through collected TTPs and IOCs, that is tactics, techniques, procedures, and indicators of compromise. Let's complete. So the task 4 is TIBER framework. TIBER, that is threat intelligence based ethical red teaming, is a common framework developed by the European Central Bank that centers around the use of threat intelligence. From the ECB TIBER white paper, the framework for the threat intelligence based ethical red teaming enables European and national authorities to work with financial infrastructures and institutions, thereafter referred to collectively as entities, to put in place a program to test and improve their resilience against sophisticated cyber attacks. So, as you guys can see, the preparation phase has generic threat landscape, engagement and scoping, service procurement. The testing phase has the threat intelligence and red teaming, and the closure, that is remediation planning and result sharing. So the main difference between this framework and others is the testing phase that requires threat intelligence to feed the red team's testing. Okay. This framework encompasses a best practice rather than anything actionable from a red team perspective. These are the several public white papers and documents if you are interested in reading about this framework further. So we'll put the links in the description box, so don't worry about this. Let's complete the task. Okay, TTP mapping. So the TTP mapping is employed by the red cell to map adversaries' collected TTPs to a standard cyber kill chain. Mapping TTPs to a kill chain aids the red team in planning an engagement to emulate an adversary. To begin the process of mapping TTPs, an adversary must be selected as a target. An adversary can be chosen based on target industry, employed attack vectors, country of origin, and other factors. As an example for this task, we have decided to use APT39. So let's see. A cyber espionage group run by the Iranian ministry, known for targeting a wide variety of industries. We will use the Lockheed Martin cyber kill chain as our standard cyber kill chain to map TTPs. So let's see what is APT39. So APT39 is one of a several names of cyber espionage activity conducted by the Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security through the front company Rana Intelligence Computing since at least 2014. And APT39 has primarily targeted the travel, hospitality, academic, and telecommunication industries in Iran and across Asia, Africa, Europe, and North America to track individuals and entities considered to be the threat by the Ministry of Intelligence and Security. Okay, these are the phase. The first phase is recon, that is reconnaissance. Next is weaponization, then delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and actions on objectives. So the first cyber framework we will be collecting TTPs from is MITRE ATT&CK. If you are not familiar with MITRE ATT&CK, it provides IDs and descriptions of categorized TTPs, that is tactics, techniques, and procedures. For more information about MITRE and how to use MITRE, check out the MITRE room. We'll solve this room later. So ATT&CK provides a basic summary of the group's collected TTPs. We can use ATT&CK Navigator to help us visualize each TTPs and categorize its place in the kill chain. Navigator visualizes the attacks chain with the adversary's designated TTPs highlighted under the corresponding subsection. To use the ATT&CK Navigator, navigate to the group summary page next to the techniques used. Navigate to ATT&CK Navigator's layer from the drop-down Navigate to View, and ATT&CK Navigator layer should have open like so. Let's see this in an action. That is, if you just click on this ATT&CK Navigator layer and just click on this View button. Okay, these are the phases, that is reconnaissance, resource development, initial access, execution, persistence, defense, evasion, credential access, discovery, lateral movement, collection, command and control, exfiltration, and impact. Okay, so going through a navigator layer, we can assign various TTPs we want to employ during the engagement. Below is a compiled kill chain with mapped TTPs for APT39. So the first phase is reconnaissance. No identified TTPs, use internal team methodology. The next one is weaponization. the command and scripting interpreter, that is PowerShell, Python, and VB. So let's go to the APT39 navigator. So weaponization is in MITRE ATT&CK, it is equal to execution. So if you see the execution, the PowerShell, Python, and Visual Basic is there. Let's see the next, that is delivery, and exploit public facing application and spear phishing. So delivery is equal to the initial access in MITRE ATT&CK navigator. So let's see the initial access. So as you guys can see, spear phishing attachment and spear phishing link, and exploit public facing application. The next one is exploitation, that is persistence in MITRE ATT&CK. So let's see registry modification, schedule task, key login, and credential dumping. So if you see the persistence, so there is shortcut modification, local account, registry, run keys. Okay. Installation is ingress tool transfer, proxy usage, command and control. Let's see command and control. So here's the command and control, that is DNS and web protocols. Action and objectives, that is exfiltration over C2. So here's exfiltration over C2 channel. Okay. MITRE ATT&CK will do most of the work needed, but we can also supplement threat intelligence information with other platforms and frameworks. Another example of a TTP framework is OST map. Let's see OST map. Okay. APT10. Okay. WinT. Return to the full network. Search by name. So let's write APT39. Okay. So you guys can check it out. Like, we'll put the link in the description box. Okay. OST map provides a visual map to link multiple threat actors and their TTPs. Other open source and enterprise threat intelligence platform can aid red teamers in adversary simulation and TTP mapping, such as Mandiant Advantage, OnTick, and CrowdStrike. Answer the questions below. Read the above and use MITRE ATT&CK's navigator to answer the questions below using a carbonic layer. Let's complete it. How many commands and control techniques are employed by carbonic? So let's go to carbonic. Here is the carbonic. Click on it. And okay. So Carbonic is a cyber criminal group that has used Carbonic malware to target financial institutions since at least 2013. Carbonic may be linked to Group Attract separately as Cobalt Group and Fin7 that have also used Carbonic malware. Okay. How many commands and control techniques are employed by Carbonic? So let's see the attack navigator. Click on view button. So let's check the command and control phase. They have two techniques, that is remote access software and bidirectional communication, command and control. So let's write 2 here, submit the answer. Yes, it is correct. What signed binary did Carbonic use for defense evasion? Let's see. If you just search signed binary proxy execution, so that is run LL 32. The Carbonic install VNC server software that execute through run LL32. So let's copy it and paste it here. Submit the answer. Yes, it is correct. So the next question is, what initial access techniques is employed by Carbonec? So let's see the initial access. As you guys can see, in initial access phase, the valid accounts is there. So let's write valid account, submit the answer. Yes, it is correct. Task 6 is other red team application of CTI. CTI can also be used during engagement execution, emulating the adversary's behavioral characteristics such as C2 traffic, which include user agents, ports, protocols, listener profiles, malware and tooling that include IOCs and behaviors. The first behavioral use of CTI we will showcase in C2, that is command and control, traffic manipulation. A red team can use CTI to identify adversaries' traffic and modify their C2 traffic to emulate it. An example of a red team modifying C2 traffic based on gathered CTI is malleable profiles. A malleable profile allows a red team operators to control multiple aspects of C2's listener traffic. Information to be implemented in the profile can be gathered from ESOCs and collected IOCs or packets capture, including the host header, post URIs, and server responses and headers. The gathered traffic can aid a red team to make their traffic look similar to the targeted adversary to get closer to the goal of adversary emulation. The second behavior of CTI is analyzing behavior and actions of an adversary's malware and tools to develop your offensive tooling that emulates similar behaviors or has similar vital indicators. An example of this could be an adversary using a custom dropper. The red team can emulate the dropper by identifying traffic, observing syscalls and API calls, identifying overall dropper behavior and objectives, and tampering with file signatures and IOCs. Intelligence and tools gathered from behavioral threat intelligence can aid a red team is preparing the specific tool they will use to action plan TTPs. So let's complete the task. Creating a threat intel driven campaign. This is a very interesting task. A threat intel driven campaign will take all knowledge and topics previously covered and combine them to create a well-planned and researched campaign. The task flow in this room logically follows the same path you would take as a red team to begin planning a campaign. Identifying framework and general kill chain, determine targeted adversary, identify adversaries TTPs and IOCs, map gather threat intelligence to kill chain or framework, draft and maintain needed engagement documentation, determine and use needed engagement resources, tools, C2 modification and domain, etc. In this task, we will be walking through a red team's thought process from beginning to end of planning a threat intel driven campaign. The hardest part of planning a threat intel driven campaign can be mapping two different cyber frameworks. To make this process simpler, we have provided a basic table comparing the Lockheed Martin Cyber Kill Chain and the MITRE ATT&CK framework. So Cyber Kill Chain and the MITRE ATT&CK, two frameworks. So in Cyber Kill Chain, the first phase is recon, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, actions and objectives. The same the same phases are in the MITRE ATT&CK, but they have different names. The first phase is reconnaissance, execution, initial phase, persistence, defense, evasion, command and controls, exfiltration, and impact. So, to begin working through this task, download the required resources and launch the static site attached to this task. Your team has already decided to use the Lockheed Martin Cyber Kill Chain to emulate APT41 as the adversary that best fits the client's objectives and scope. So let's see APT41. Let's close this tab. Okay, so APT41 is a threat group that researchers have access as Chinese state-sponsored espionage group that also conduct financially motivated operations. Active since at least 2012, APT41 has been observed targeting healthcare, telecom, technology, and video game industries in 14 countries. APT41 overlaps at least partially with public reporting on group including that is barium and Winty group. So let's see the first question. Open the provided attack navigator layer and identify matched TTPs to the cyber kill chain. Once TTPs are identified, map them to the cyber kill chain in the static site. To complete the challenge, you must submit one technique name per kill chain section. So let's click on this view site button. Okay, so this is the weaponization phase. Okay, so let's click on this attack navigator and we are working on this APT41. Click on this view button. Okay, so let's find out the TTP, and this is the weaponization phase of cyber kill chain. Weaponization is in MITRE attack, it is execution. Let's see the execution techniques. So the first one is PowerShell. So let's write PowerShell here. PowerShell. Sorry. The second phase is delivery, and in MITRE attack it is initial access. So let's see the initial access, that is spear phishing attachments. So just copy the spear phishing attachment and paste it here. Spear phishing attachment. Okay, so the next phase is exploitation. In MITRE attack it is persistence. So let's see the persistence. So it is persistence. So here's external remote services. Let's copy it and paste it here. External remote services. Okay. Next one is installation, and in MITRE attack it is persistence and defense evasion. So let's see. Let's see the defense evasion. Where is the defense? Here. So here is bit job. So let's copy it. Let's paste it here. Bits job. The next one is command and control. So let's check the command and control. That is DNS and file transfer protocol. So let's DNS. And the next one is action on objectives. In MITRE attack it is exfiltration. So if you see the hint, we have already find out the PowerShell, spear phishing attachment, external remote services, bits job, DNS, and key logging is a last technique. So let's paste it here and let's check our answers. And we have got our flag. Let's copy it and paste it here, submit the answer. Yes, it is correct. Okay. So what web shell is APT41 known to use? So let's see. Let's search the web shell. Okay. So that is ASPX Spy is a web shell, that is server software components. So let's see. Submit the answer. Yes, it is correct. So what LOLBAS, that is living of the land binaries and scripts tool, does APT41 use to aid in file transfers? So let's see. That is cert util. Copy it and paste it here. Okay, yes, it is correct. What tool does APT41 use to mine and monitor SMS traffic? So let's search the message, and we have got the message tape. Let's copy it. and paste it here. Okay, I'm sorry. Submit the answer. Yes, it is correct. So the conclusion is, when planning an engagement, it is essential to note the significance of adversary emulation and how threat intelligence can aid you in identifying adversaries and their behaviors. Each red team will have its methodology of collecting and digesting threat intelligence in the real world. This room covered basic ground level knowledge of varying concepts commonly applied to a red team scenario. When planning an engagement, remember that is a crucial to look at scenarios from all perspectives, that is offensive, defensive, and an adversaries. So the threat intelligence allows us, the red team, to look deeper into an adversary's behavior by using the blue team's methodology to our advantage. So the read the above and continue learning. So let's complete the task. And we have completed this red team threat intel room of TryHackMe. And I hope you like this video, guys. And if you did, then share this video with your friends and colleagues. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care and keep hacking.